Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome all of you to our June focus piece, which is Cancer Survivor Month. And today we're blessed and truly delighted that Rosie and I are able to join Troy and Jana Clark, as well as their son Bodie, active young man, and I'm sure he will demonstrate that momentarily. But Troy, you've been with Fort Worth Fire for over 23 years, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I know that you have a history with your own family in Fort Worth Fire. Can you briefly tell us about who all was involved in the previous generations of firefighting?
Yes, sir. My father and uncle were both part of Fort Worth, and also my cousin. There was just four of us.
So you grew up with helmets and bunker gear and all the above.
Absolutely.
In fact, you showed us, I think your dad's bunker gear that you still have.
Yes, sir.
In the room upstairs, and I think that's a tribute to him, and something you shared with me as you go in that room at least once a day to reflect on some of those memories with him, right?
I do. I do.
Just a sidebar, I know that your entire family, you and Jana and Bodie, all were dealing with COVID. How did that go down? That has to be one of the greater challenges you faced.
It was, along with what I would say is an infant. I always want to say newborn, but along with us being the first parents and worried to death about COVID. A little bit for me, but mostly for him. And we took it like a champ.
And that was in addition to the other fight that you've been having with cancer itself.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I know that you've been involved with our Fire Resource Network group. Rosie and I have been working with you. And I think it's kind of exciting to be able to be a part of making some needed changes. Changes in attitude, changes in the history of firefighting, what's cool, what isn't. What kind of changes have you seen since the creation of our Fire Resource Network group since 2017? Have you seen anything different in general orders and decon, things of that nature?
We really have. There's been a lot of great ideas, some implemented and some not, but the greatest idea was making everybody aware. And knowledge is power, and I think about my dad and what they really didn't know back in the day. It's not that we're smarter than them, we just know more than them now. And they've made some changes in bunker gear cleaning regiments and decon regiments with our fires, and we even get some training, some annual CE training on cancer related to firefighting, which is really good. And yes, I wish they had put it on study material list is what I wish.
And you know, I noticed when I looked at your dad's bunker gear, it wasn't real nice and clean looking to me. I mean, it looked like it had been through a few fires, to say the least. And didn't it used to be the case where newbies were told, stick around the guys with the dirtiest bunker gear. They're the ones that have been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the battle scars. They're the ones that are going to teach you the most. And that's no longer the case, is it?
It's not. Unfortunately, those guys there's fewer of them now around, but they're upset that their bunker gear is a lot cleaner than it used to be. And overall, it's once you flip that coin and realize it's the way to go. It's after the science has been provided, after our guys, you see our guys, what happens to them, and yeah, it's hard to talk about. I'm sorry, but my gear was, I tried to make it the dirtiest I could, and always worked somewhere busy. It's just the way it ended up.
Sure.
But the emphasis to clean your gear wasn't there like it is now, and do I wish I would have known a lot more a lot sooner.
Amen. Amen. But now that you have learned, and now that that attitude and those historic practices in firefighting have been changing, what have you noticed since the symposium that we had here a couple of years ago? Is that a worthwhile product to inform firefighters as well as their families?
Absolutely. And Jan and I talked about a lot of things, and a lot of the big changes I've made is because of her, and is because of him. And if she knows what we know, sometimes it takes this to make this act right and do right for all of this.
Amen.
And it's just as important for families to know what we're dealing with and what we're faced with and what could potentially happen and not happen, and how our actions can possibly predict it.
And along that same line, Jana, what would you say to other families, especially wives and spouses of firefighters?
I think that it's, we talk about it a lot. It's the lifestyle change. It's the eating habits, and I think that was the hardest thing to get him to change.
Are you talking about doing away with SOS, or I mean, let's be honest here.
I think that it comes with a lot of the eating. I mean, just showing him that it's okay to eat a salad with chicken for dinner and not the nachos. Or the pizza. We can have pizza every now and then, but we're going to have a lot healthier options. And allowing him to eat that and making him eat that sometimes
Right.
was, it's okay.
Okay. Well, when I think both Troy and I outkicked our punt coverage with our spouses, and it's very important to have that relationship that is able to unite their energies, recharge their batteries, look forward to getting home after shift, look forward to having him home
Yes.
after shift. That's something that those of us who are not involved with being first responders can't really fathom. Troy, you have a family with a history in firefighting, but do you have a family with a disposition in cancer itself?
Yes, sir. My father, he was a fireman here for 30 years, and he dealt with it 3 different times.
3 times?
3 times.
3 different types, or 3 the same?
The first time was melanoma, and the second 2 times were lymphoma. And it had to be from this. And what really gets me is whenever I was diagnosed, a lot of even our own guys, first thing you say, well, your dad had it. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's genetic, and
It's a hard way to learn it, though, isn't it?
it's a really hard way to learn it. And I had all the genetic testing, which proved it wasn't genetic, and which helped my case a little bit with workers' comp and so forth. But it really opened my eyes to it was the job.
And you brought up, obviously, I touched a nerve with my question. I saw you take your deep breath for good reason. But you brought up the challenge of fighting the system to be able to prove yourself what the cause of your cancer was. And as a result of our study group, as well as others who are educated on firefighting and the issue of cancer in firefighters, have you seen any changes in either state or federal law?
Our state has made some good changes since even I was diagnosed, and I think they might have made some changes the other direction as well, or they proposed it. So I think overall things have gotten somewhat better.
Well, rest assured, we're not going to stop. We are determined to continue to educate those who make the laws, to ensure that they are fair, to ensure that our firefighters who are unfortunate enough to be exposed to carcinogens while doing their job, that they have pledged to protect us, deserve that response. They don't deserve an immediate denial and putting our firefighters who are just diagnosed with cancer in the position of not only having to try and figure out what doctor to go to, who do I go to for my treatment, how do I access that system. They're also trying to figure out how they can address the issue of workers' comp, how they can satisfy the city that this was job related. You shouldn't have to fight those battles, and we want to do everything to throw blocks for you to make sure that doesn't happen. If I were to ask both of you, what is the most important thing you've learned from this experience, good or bad, what would your answer be?
I'll let you go ahead. Take it, babe.
Gosh, I think there's so many aspects, but mainly the clean eating has been so important. And just doing your research, there's more out there than what the first doctor has to say. And I think that's something we continue. We're being in education, it's my saying is always being a lifelong learner. And for this too, we've really, just last week, we're learning, oh, well, did you know this or did you read this? And we should cut this out, we should try this. And it's almost weekly that we're talking still about cancer and how we can fight it and how to just change daily lifestyle and do what's best for Bodie too. That's also what we're looking at to give him a bright future.
The biggest thing that I feel like I've learned is just a big change of attitude. We're a really new family, all three of us, and I think back on my dad and them not knowing and not having the science and not having the awareness, and him dying at 51 years old, not ever seeing his grandkid. It makes me really think about my family more than ever. Not only this family, but the rest, our firefighter family. And I had to swallow a big pill to take a 40-hour job in the Bureau of Fire Prevention here in the city of Fort Worth. And to drop some of my machismo and start cleaning my gear and start doing things different, along with trying to eat better, try to sleep better, try not to drink, all that stuff. It combined into a huge lifestyle change is what we call it in our family. And along with that lifestyle change, there's a lot of changes at work. And I hope that all those changes will reciprocate into a longer, better life for me and for my family and for the rest of my family.
Well, I think our city is blessed to have you still out here giving back, sharing the lessons you've learned, sharing the experiences that you've had, both good and bad. You are a part of the finest fire department in the United States. And when I say Fort Worth's finest, I mean Fort Worth's finest. Rosie and I have been blessed to be adopted by the Fort Worth firefighter family. They are now extended family to us as well because we've adopted you. I would, first of all, thank both of y'all. Thank you for welcoming us into your beautiful home, your really cool home.
Thank you.
and camera crew can't see it all, but it's a beautiful home, obviously full of love in every corner. I want to thank Nathan Schneidwint and Farlow Media, who agreed to donate their time and effort filming and editing this video, because without their help, we wouldn't be here to be able to share this story. So thank you all again. God bless. God bless our city.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.